Welcome to Tibara's Den. My name is Whitney and welcome to another speed build. We are on the second video in the Gemini portion of our Zodiac series. We've already done Aries, we've already done Taurus. If you haven't seen those videos, definitely check those out. I'll leave them linked in the description below, as well as at the end of this video. But on Monday, we created a sim based on the Zodiac of Gemini, and then their twin, who is based on the Chinese zodiac of the horse, because they're considered zodiac twins. So definitely check out Monday's video as well while you're checking out the rest. So if you haven't already, please subscribe, hit the bell notification. I am going to be doing this whole rest of the year as we cover each different zodiac sign. So it's been a lot of fun and I've really been enjoying it. Anyway, today we are on Gemini and Horse, and we are doing the build for them. I kind of debated where I wanted to put them. Kind of a reoccurring theme that I noticed is that they kind of like to be in the know, like they like to be in the middle of things, like just kind of know what's going on and everything like that. And I actually made my Gemini sim a politician, and then my horse sim is a salary person under the expert branch. And so I thought about putting them in San Myshuno, but I just really didn't like the idea of an apartment. And I'm trying to find lots that have neighboring lots close by for the Primal Zodiac under each Western astrology sign, which Primal Zodiacs just take your Western sign and your Chinese Zodiac sign and combine them together. So in the weeks in between, I've been working on that. And so I just really didn't like the idea of an apartment. So I decided to go ahead and put them in Windenburg. And I decided to put them right in like the city. I actually had 3 lots, so it worked out perfectly. Of course, since there's only 2 sims in this build, I put them on the smallest lot. And then the Primal Zodiacs will go on the other lots, the one next door and then the one kind of down and across. So that is kind of what we're working with today. Lucky color is yellow for Gemini, and the horse lucky color is actually brown, yellow, and purple. So I kind of didn't want to go full yellow. I've been focusing mainly on the Western astrology sign for like the outside of the builds. And so for Aries, we went very heavily red. For Taurus, we went very heavily pink. And so I really didn't want that. I mean, yellow can kind of be a little bit overbearing sometimes. So I kind of wanted to combine some of the horse's lucky colors in here as well on the outside. And so you can see I also went heavily with brown as well. And so I kind of did a yellow, brown, and black theme. I like how yellow and black look together. So I kind of incorporated that. And with the dark brown, it all kind of ties together really, really well, I think. So that's kind of what we're working with. It was actually funny as I was editing the video and kind of watching it back and looking at the color scheme. I used to be in a group. I grew up in Colorado, and there's an equestrian youth group for obviously kids, but it's called Westernaires, and they have like different like teams, I guess. And one of my teams was the Mustangs, and our colors were yellow and brown, and we always joked that we looked like bananas. And so the whole time I was like watching this build back, I kept thinking that like it's not too bad, but there's like certain aspects like the laundry room that is very yellow and brown, and it just made me think of when I was on that team and we referred to ourselves as like the bruised bananas or something like that. So I just thought that was a funny little story I'd share with you all. But no, I really like how this build turned out. It is a little small, and I don't think it necessarily screams like politician or salary person vibes, but kind of the personalities of these 2 sims I think do come across. And it is a little bit, homey, which I like as well. I think, they value that too. Like, it's not just about being out and about, like they value their home too. And so I really like how this build turned out, and I think it was a little hard because I have this hill behind me, and so especially when I would go towards the back of the house, it would jerk the camera up. So that was a little bit frustrating. You can see like the camera is all over the place while I'm doing this build. But it still turned out really cool. And one thing, the horse is very like outdoorsy and adventurous, and so I tried to incorporate that as well. And like they're really close to town, so they can go, have drinks and network and such as well, and meet up with people. So overall, I really, really enjoyed this build. And it's funny, I've already worked on the first set of Primal Zodiacs. I haven't done their build yet at this point, but I have this build in mind, and of course they're going to be right next door. But that group is so diverse, which you'll see what I'm talking about. Definitely check out next week's videos, because it is like it's all over the place as far as like the characters I created and such. And it's like, how am I gonna tie them all together in one build? So I was kind of thinking about what maybe their backstory was, and how they all ended up in the same place. And so I'm definitely gonna have to work. And I think this build kind of has like that old family charm to it, I guess, would be the best description I can think of in my head. And I'm definitely going to have to tie that into my next two builds. Obviously, I want similarities since they're under the same sign, the Gemini sign. But at the same time, there's so many different characters. It's like, how do you tie them all together? And I think with Aries and Taurus, why there was a lot of different characters, they all kind of fit together really nicely. Where my first group, I haven't worked on the second group yet, so it'll be interesting to see how they kind of turn out. But my first group, like I said, is so diverse, and I'm like, how am I going to tie them all together? But there is that overall theme, like they like to be in the know, like whether it is through education, or just like knowing what's going on with the people in their lives or in the community, things like that. That's kind of the overall arcing theme of the Gemini. Like they're very kind of social, influential, like they like to kind of lead in their own right, but they like to know things. They like to know, and they like to share that knowledge with others. And so that's a combining component. But with that, you have so many different types of people. Where like with the Aries side, it was a lot of active people, and so it was really easy to kind of tie them together. And with Taurus, it was more, kind of like a little bit of a whimsy and romantic vibe with the different characters, which was really nice as well. But anyway, just kind of my thoughts. I've been thinking of how I'm gonna tie the next build together, and especially tie it in with this build that I've already done. So it should be kind of interesting to see, and I can't wait to kind of get started. I'm a little bit overwhelmed right now thinking about it, but I think it will turn out, and it'll definitely, push me out of my comfort zone, which is the whole point of doing the series and this channel in general, is to kind of push myself and get better at building and creating characters and such. So I've really been enjoying this so far, and I can't wait to see what is in the future, and what sims I'm gonna be incorporating into the save file. I'm getting really excited though. The more sims I add, the more I like want to sit down and play, but at the same time I don't want to fully play until my save file's kind of filled in either. Especially because I haven't done too many like restaurants or clubs or bars or places for them to go and do something, libraries, and so I really need to start working on those as well, because it'll make it a lot easier to do gameplay once I have those in place. But you can see I'm still working on the outside here. Their backyard is kind of like awkward. Like I said, this isn't a very big lot. And so you kind of come in the gate, and there's a little seating area, and then she has her easel, because the horse, they're not like fully artsy, but they do kind of have like an artist aspect to them. Like they kind of dabble, I guess. And so I knew I wanted to put like an easel, and then in her room she has like a knitting loom that she probably just does as a like a hobby, kind of just to relax and such. And then you come around the corner and there's like a little seating area, so if they have friends over they can kind of sit and chat. And then you have your grill and a little outdoor table. And then she likes the outdoors and she likes nature, so I did put a couple bee boxes and then some lounge chairs and such in the front, so she can maybe get some sun and whatnot. Even though she is very pale, if you saw Monday's video, they are both very, very pale. So she definitely has to be careful she doesn't burn either. So, but the horse sim is definitely my favorite sim. Even I created, the first set of Primal Zodiac sims, and there's a couple in there that I really like too, but the horse sim, out of all the ones I've created so far, she's definitely winning. Like, I like her style. Like, and when I was creating her, if you saw Monday's video, I talked about it. I used a lot of red for her, and that's because my mom, really loves red, and she always says it's a power color. And she's actually, horses are her favorite animal, and she worked with horses for quite a long time. And so, I don't know, I think that's probably why I really, really like The Sims so much, is because she doesn't remind me of my mom so much, but like how I created her and her personality, but, the horse and then the red and just, like she's tough and outgoing, that does remind me of my mom, and so I really, really like her, and I want to kind of play her a little bit more. So it's going to be hard too when I start playing in the save file, because there's so many sims that I really like. It's like, who am I going to play? Because I have, my veterinarian sim, I have my farmer's daughter sim, which I really like. When I first started, I was doing mythical elements, and so, I have a couple of those sims that I really enjoy as well. Not so much the fire elements, the spellcasters, but I do like my earth sims, which are vampires. I like them. Their build's kind of underground though, and it's kind of glitches, so I don't know that I like that so much. But my mermaid sims I really like as well, and my air sims, I really, really like my alien air sims. So, going back to those guys, it's definitely going to be interesting, to see who I gravitate to and who I'm going to want to play. But either way, just being able to see these sims in my build is going to be really enjoyable for me as well, interacting with them, whether I'm playing them or not, and just kind of seeing how their life goes. I created them, but then, once I'm not playing them and I'm just playing in the file, their life is obviously going to progress a little bit. So, definitely excited. I know that's a ways down the line, but I'm very motivated to get there and see how it goes with these sims. So, but anyway, you can see I did a little laundry room by the staircase there. I wanted to put a door, but I knew that wouldn't necessarily be functional. So ideally, like if it was real life, you may not be able to see the door in The Sims, but I imagine that there's a door that you can kind of pull across, like kind of those doors that kind of go into the wall. And then you just pull it out, so you don't necessarily see it when they're open, but you can close them and kind of block off the laundry room. That's kind of what I imagined for that space. And then this is the downstairs bathroom, which is my Gemini Sim's bathroom. He has to come downstairs to use the bathroom. She has the master with the ensuite bathroom, and then he has to run down the stairs every time he needs to come use the bathroom. So, but this is his little area. You'll see here in a second the curtains. I hate the curtains in The Sims 4. I don't know why. Like, it clips differently depending on where the window is. So I have these two windows, and the one window, it would clip perfectly to kind of the top wood piece, like right there, and the other window would go too low, or you can do it on the wall. But I was getting so frustrated I couldn't get them to clip in the same spots, and other than on the wall, and I didn't really like how that looked. So I was getting really, really frustrated. I spent a lot of time, like there was a lot of curtains I liked, but I couldn't get them to place in the same spot. And so that was really, really frustrating for me, and I don't know why it does that. And I have that problem quite often, and I kind of have to get like the right angle, and I just couldn't get the right angle in this build, and I tried to move it over, and sometimes it'll clip, and then you can move the window with the curtain, and I was trying to do that, so I was trying to move the window back over where the other window was to try to get the curtains on the same level, and that wasn't working. Like, I was getting so frustrated at this point. Like, I spent way too much time here. So in the end, I use these curtains and I have them on the wall because it has the piece that is on the wall, but then it also goes down and has the piece that is on the window itself. So in the end, that's what I ended up using, but I was getting really, really frustrated with that. So now we are on to our living room, and this one I struggled with a little bit too. I wanted to put the TV on that wall since it was kind of open, but because I had that awkward bump out, it was not working. And so in the end, I put the TV in front of the windows, which if you watched previous videos, you know I generally don't like to do that. But it wasn't working otherwise. I mean, I guess I could have had it kind of like in the middle of the room, so put the couch against the windows and then have the TV, just kind of freestanding. But I also don't like that either. Even though that's kind of how our TV is in my house, it's just kind of in the middle of the room and freestanding. I don't generally like that. We just really don't have another option for our layout in our living room. And so this is what I ended up doing, even though it's not my favorite. But it made the most sense because the wall just wasn't happening, and then I could put the little love seat in that little bump out there, and it wasn't as awkward looking as what I was trying to do. So this made the most sense, and that's what I ended up doing. A little lamp, and then I put a little bookcase along that wall, and then I put the Zodiac picture, which I'm trying to incorporate in all the builds. I have custom content Zodiac pictures, and I struggled to find which one was Gemini. I have a hard time seeing what it says like in the menu, so I have to like put them on the wall to see what it is, but I found it in the end, which made me happy. But yeah, I did that, and then I don't know why I put these two pieces. I put these two cats, I guess because they had the gold, and I liked that, and it made me think yellow, and it was kind of fancy. And maybe they were a gift from somebody or something like that, so it's just kind of like a statement piece that they have in their living room. I don't know, but it does look kind of silly, but that's what I went with, and so that's kind of what it is. And then this kitchen I struggled with as well. Again, just kind of awkward. I was trying to make a more interesting shape. I watched Sydney Macaretta a lot, and so she always kind of makes her builds like these interesting shapes. And so I was kind of trying to do that, and in the end it kind of bit me in the butt because it was kind of hard to get the correct layout. So I decided I would utilize like an island space and put the oven in there, and so that was one piece I didn't have to try to fit in that bump out there. But then I had these awkward corners that I didn't know what to do with. I thought about putting a trash can on that side. In the end, I put that on the other side since there's windows on the other side. I decided I did not want to put like this china cabinet over there, so I switched it with the trash can. But again, that china cabinet is even a little bit awkward. And then you have like these cabinet pieces that are all kind of a little funky too. But I think, that's what I was working with, and I think it's not too bad. It's definitely a little odd, but I don't think it's too bad. So not much room for a little dining area, but I managed to get like one of these circular tables and put it in there. I kind of put it at an angle so it made sense that they can maybe get by a little bit. And yeah, that's what we're working with. That corner piece, just to put anything on it, it's kind of funny, and so I ended up going with just a regular cabinet back there and kind of cluttered it up a little bit, a little dish plate thing with some knives and some cutting boards, and then a coffee maker. I see both of these Sims enjoying their coffee a little bit. Some custom content clutter there. I do a cereal box. I do go back later on and put the cooking books up there. When I was cluttering, I think it's her room, I found the cooking books and was like, oh yeah, I meant to put those on the fridge. So I had to go back to do that. Some coffee cups, which are also, or teacups, which are also custom content pieces. A little oil diffuser, so that way everything smells good. Salt and pepper, of course, and then some utensils to cook with. Just a drink tray and some magazines in the living room, nothing too fancy. And then this cute little custom content coffee cup, which I think worked really well because it's the right colors and everything like that. And of course, it's in the kitchen. And so finally, we are on to the upstairs, and this layout again was a little bit awkward, but I managed to make it work fairly well, I think. And so you can see we have like the hallway, and then I decided right behind the stairs was a good place for a bathroom, and that's of course the master bedroom, with the ensuite bathroom. And then for his room, it's just kind of basic, but you do have kind of an awkward little bump out there, so there's room for her door, because I hate like leaving it one tile and trying to put the door. It just looks so tight and awkward, and I don't like how it looks. So normally I like to kind of put the door in the middle, or away from a corner, and so I kind of play around with that quite a bit. And you can see I kind of shoved the door over, but again, I just don't like the way it looked. So I ended up kind of moving it back over towards the middle a little bit, which you will see here in a while. But as always, I'm copying and pasting the bathroom. That's what I tend to do. This is actually a second day, so I had to turn back on my cheats, and I couldn't remember my ignore gameplay cheat. I think it kept putting an S on the end, and so of course it wasn't working. But that often happens to me. I can't quite remember what it is. And so yeah, this is her bathroom. I, like I said, kept it very matchy to the one downstairs. The color scheme obviously works, and that is one thing I really liked, because my other two, Aries and Taurus, they're Chinese zodiac twins, didn't have a matching lucky color, where this one did. One of her lucky colors is yellow, and that's Gemini's lucky color. So it was really easy to do the overall color scheme with them both, because she had that. So but this is her room. Struggled a little bit. I wanted to do purple. Obviously the rest of the house is very heavily yellow and brown, and so I didn't want to use those colors, so I wanted to use a purple. But I was trying to find one, because she's not really like a dark sim, like she's very bright, but like some of these lighter purples were a little bit too feminine and soft for her. Like she's tough and adventurous, and so I didn't like some of the softer purples, but the darker purples were like just too dark, if that makes sense. So I did kind of struggle trying to find what I want to use, and in the end I ended up going with yellow and brown again, because I just couldn't find a purple. But I use like a purple bed and things like that, so there is a lot of purple in her room. It's just I couldn't go like with purple wallpaper or anything like that like I had originally planned, so a little bit frustrating there, but I mean, you do what you can. So but yeah, that's her room. Her bed, I kind of struggled with what I wanted to do with her bed. In the end, I use this bed here. I just like the color purple overall, and I actually managed to find curtains that kind of fit with that, and then I also had the brown and the yellow tied in, which I thought worked really nicely. I did want to put a dresser in originally, but since she had the closet, I chose to use a desk over a dresser. So instead of that dresser there, I actually put a desk. And you can see I'm struggling with the curtains again, as always. And so I finally said, screw this. And I just moved the windows to kind of fit the curtains instead of struggling with the curtains. It does clip into the bed, which is driving me insane, especially watching it back. But at the same time, it's like, they were such a battle, I just kind of left that. The bookshelf I do adjust so it's not clipping into the curtains, but the bed I'm just like, I'm over it at this point, it can just stay how it is. I don't even care. And so you can see I'm using this desk here, and I do add a purple chair. I actually add a purple chair with flowers. I did incorporate flowers. I didn't think it was so soft because the purple is kind of like a darker purple, but I do incorporate like a flowery purple for the desk chair and also her rug that goes under the bed. So you'll see that. And so, you know, it's a kind of a darker purple, but the flowers soften it a little bit, but not too much, I don't think. And it kind of adds that outdoorsy aspect to it, which I liked. And then I use this bookshelf right there, which I really like. Snowy Escape definitely, you know, worked well in this build, I would say. A lamp, and then a little like tea thing by her chair. Kind of did an island living chair. You know, kind of mixed and matched pieces for her, which I liked, and then just added some more clutter to this bookshelf. So a stereo, some more books with some plants. You know, she really does like knowledge and things like that, and she's an expert in her field. So you know, and then this is where I add like the little loom, something she might do to kind of just relax and unwind. Just kind of a hobby, not necessarily something she takes too seriously or anything like that. Some files, you know, from work maybe. And then I think I just put it up some paintings. Out in the hallway here, I add some of the Snowy Escape, you know, rock climbing gear and snowboarding, skiing gear, just because she is adventurous, so that's something she would like to do. So I definitely think she would enjoy having that kind of stuff around. Just kind of push the door down a little bit, but not fully in the corner. But of course, then the plants didn't really fit right. And so in the end, I put like a travel fund. I have a custom content piece. I had trouble finding it because I have them where they sit on the desk, and then I also have them where they hang on the wall. So I did struggle finding that a little bit. And which you can see, I'm like trying to find it. In the end, I had to put on my custom content filter in order to find it, but it's like a little travel fund box, you know, for them to put like some money in. And so I really liked that, and I added that to her room, you know, so she probably saves as much as she can to go on adventures. And if you saw Monday's video, like her hot weather wear and her cold weather wear are more like adventurous, you know, instead of like businessy type gear, because I see her traveling a lot in the summer and then going skiing and whatnot in the winter as well. So, but that is her room, and now we are on to Gemini's room. Again, struggled because that stupid hill's there. But his room obviously went heavily yellow since that's his lucky color. I think another lucky color for them is like a pale green too. But I kind of went off what I had for my information. If you want to see any of the websites where I got my information from, those are linked in the description below as well. But yeah, I just kind of went, you know, it mainly had like the Chinese zodiacs, and then had a little bit about the Western astrology as well. And so I used that for my information from that website. And then I also have, you know, the information on why they're considered twins, and then all my Primal Zodiac is linked down there as well in the description. So, but yeah, this is his room. Like I said, very heavily yellow. I went with a lighter yellow. I didn't realize it had like the flowers on it, which I don't necessarily like. But you really have to kind of zoom in to see that. But yeah, I like the pale yellow with the brown. And then for like his furniture and stuff, I went with kind of a darker yellow, more like a gold color. And then these pictures, I just like that they kind of matched. I see him as somebody who might enjoy chess, and so I put that. And then of course, he has his little computer area in case he needs to like work from home, do research on anything. Since he is kind of in the politician career, he might need to make sure he's up to snuff for like debates or anything like that. So that's his room, pretty basic. You can see, obviously, there's not a lot of choices as far as yellow go, and so I kind of was able to put it together pretty quick. Basic for the hallway, but yeah, that is the build. We're going to run through the walkthrough here, and then, of course, I always include screenshots in the end as well, and that way if you guys kind of want to get more detail in the pictures, you can see those screenshots. But I'm going to go ahead and leave you here. Let me know what you guys think of this build in the comments below. And remember to come back on Monday for the first video in the Primal Zodiac series. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. We will see you then. Bye, everybody.